Okay, so it was quite easy for us to add social login with Google using the gem OmniAuth Google Auth tool. And now we're going to do something similar with GitHub. So gem OmniAuth GitHub. Here's the gem. And we're going to install this gem. So we're adding it to our gem file right here. And now we run bundle. Okay, and what do we need to do? We need to get GitHub API keys. So we will go to GitHub, our account. That's my account. You can follow me if you like. And go to settings. So click settings. Now you go to developer settings, OAuth apps. And here you're going to create a new auth app. I will name this one Ruby Gems Bootcamp. And we'll need a homepage URL and an authorization callback URL. So homepage URL is going to be this one without users. And in authorization callback URL, we're going to have something similar to what we had in Google. Let's see the URL that we put in Google. Actually, this one is quite hard to remember. What did we put? Let's see. So users out Google Auth 2 callback, but I'm going to put GitHub. Users out GitHub callback. Okay, and register application. So it was much easier. And here we have our client ID, and now we'll get a client secret. So let's go to device RB. Where do we have our initializers? Device RB. And here we have already set up Google. And now we're going to set up GitHub. Now we will not need the public repos, only user data. Now we have our app ID. Here's the app ID. And we'll get a client secret. Okay, here is the secret key, I guess. Now, no spaces. Okay. And we actually don't really have to have this additional scope user here. Yeah. So the documentation doesn't say that we need to have the scope user. Okay. But it is possible. Yeah, I would actually leave the scope user. Okay, now we're going to our user.rb and we're going to add also GitHub like this. And let's try logging in. Rails server. I'm logging out. You see we have this button sign in with GitHub. Now I don't actually need any organization access, just authorize. And you see I get this unknown action. The action GitHub couldn't be found in users OmniAuth callbacks controller. Why is that? We're going to our OmniAuth callbacks controller, and here really we see only one action. It's called Google Auth 2. Now, one thing that we can do is just copy this action and name a new action called GitHub, and just replace the word Google with GitHub. Let's see if this works. I refresh. I try to log in once again. And you see, I managed to log in using my GitHub account. But it doesn't really look nice reusing the same code just for the sake of renaming the action. So we're going to do something about this. So here's what we are going to do. We're going to delete one of these two actions and create a couple of smaller actions. We're going to create def for Google Auth 2 and def for GitHub. And this one is going to be named handle auth. And here we will have kind. And here we will say dev Google auth will lead to handle auth. So one action leads to another action, and it is going to be called Google. And here we're going to have handle auth GitHub. So whenever we are redirecting to the callback to log in with Google or GitHub, we redirect to handle auth kind, and the kind is either Google or GitHub. And here we'll say kind is client. Okay, so this should kind of make us not have to use the same code twice. And let's try to log in. So I'm trying to log in with Google. It works. I'm trying to log in with GitHub. And it also works. So perfect. We really easily, after creating one provider for social login, managed to create social login with one more provider. We just added the gem for this provider, then added the credentials in device, added the provider in OmniAuth user, and slightly updated our OmniAuth callbacks controller to make it more dynamic. So that's it. That's how we add the social login with GitHub. And don't forget to go to the GitHub website where you can get the API keys.